Hey, it's Barry.
And Dave.
Here with another episode of Hooked on Headwaters. Today we are here at Headwaters Lake.
Ooh, there we go.
As you can see, hopefully you guys have been enjoying the lake, catching lots of fish. We got some things we're going to cover when it comes to the lake conditions, when it comes to the water levels, when it comes to baits that are working. Yep. Lots of different things we're going to be covering in today's video, so make sure you stay through it because you're going to learn a lot. We're going to cover some pan fishing things, so we've got a lot of information that we want to cover. We're also going to meet up with one of the folks that follows our channel here today.
Right. That was a cool meeting.
Super dude, and yes, we met another couple that, that's coming up in a future episode on some things. So first thing we want to do though is mention that regrettably we have to reschedule the Memorial Day flag ceremony and tournament situations that we can't get around for that. However, we are going to reschedule it for July 2nd. That'll be a Saturday. That'll be the Saturday before the 4th.
Yep.
Same thing. We're going to do around the flag, and then we're going to do a tournament. So if you want to be involved in that, make sure you send an email to Dave at Hooked on Headwaters or Barry at Hooked on Headwaters, letting us know that you want in. You know, that kind of gives us a count so we know what to do. We've got lots of great prizes. We want to make sure we've got prizes to go around. We've got giveaways and raffles and first prizes all the way down. So it's going to be a great time. So make sure you send your information over. So where are we going to go from there, Dave?
Man, it's all free.
Yep.
But we'll have more information coming up real soon.
And if there was any way we could have done it scheduled time, we would have, but it just worked unfortunately.
But that is, so we've rescheduled for the July 4th weekend, the Saturday before the holiday. So if you plan on being around this area, bring the family. We'll have some dogs. We'll have some free hot dogs for everyone, some other goodies, and free raffle. So, but more about that later.
Yep. All right.
This is Memorial Day weekend. Being a vet myself, I want to extend a huge thank you to all our military brothers and sisters, the ones who are serving now, the ones who have served. A big salute to the families, our wounded warriors, and those who gave it all. Thank you. We appreciate you, and God bless all of you.
Yeah, thank you and your families that went through everything with you, side by side.
And if you see a vet this weekend, please, someone you know who served, or even a family member of someone who served, there's overseas now, please give them a thank you and a thumbs up.
Absolutely.
It means a lot.
Yep. So, I think we need to cover real fast here, Davis House Inn. Looking for a place to stay when you're coming down here to fish? Without question, we have two great places. Davis House Inn over on the Indian River. You're going to find a beautiful location. You're going to find big rooms. You're going to find close to entertainment, food. It's just a great place. So check out all the details below. Beautiful view of the river across the street. Go hang out on the dock in the evening time and just relax, get up in the morning and have some coffee before you go fishing. Place to hook up your batteries for powered up so you're ready to go to the lake. Place to wash down your boat. And if you get there early, make sure you call Kyle and say, hey, where do I put my boat if I get there before you do? And he'll be glad to tell you where to park your boat so that you'll be ready to go. So details below.
Yes. So and don't forget, you get Hooked on Headwaters discount. Don't forget to mention it. So let's move on to the lake conditions. So water is really low, folks. Of course, we mentioned this last week. It's been blowing. The wind's been blowing since March. Pretty much hasn't stopped. Even today it's really windy. That's where we're behind the sign and next to the toilets. But
they didn't see that. But in case you're wondering where they are, you know now. Just go to the sign and head left.
Right there.
So all this wind is just evaporates the water. Number one, and number two, there's an apparent. Now we got to do some backup and says if anybody knows about it's coming below, but apparently there's an issue on Lake Washington, maybe at the dam. That's the only place that relieves water from the lake. So if you know about that, comment below. But either way, the water levels in all the lakes have been dropping, both due to weather conditions and if there is in fact something there. You got to remember, the St. Johns River flows north.
Right.
These are all the headwaters.
These are the headwaters. So Lake Garcia, Kenansville, Headwaters Lake, Three Forks, Lake Washington. These represent or make up the headwaters of the St. John River. Now, the St. John River is one of the few rivers in the world, actually, that go north. There are a couple of others. It's actually the longest, a couple of facts here. It's actually the longest north running river that we have. It runs 310 miles. starts here and dumps out in Jacksonville.
Yep.
And then you got the Red River, which is kind of the U.S. and Canada combined, the Mojave, the Genesee, the Fox River, and the Chutes River. Those are the rivers that flow north in this country, and there's another handful around the world. So it's a really a unique natural phenomena. I don't know the science behind it, why that happens. If you do, comment below.
Yeah, right. Let us know for sure. So just to know, when you're coming out here, make sure that you know the places that you felt comfortable running before, maybe slow down a little. You will notice right out of the gate when you hit the S Canal, beachfront property now. You can drag out lawn chairs, set up a cooler, kick your feet up, wait for the gators to come and hang out with you. I mean, it is really down low. So definitely take your time navigating the lake. Make sure you stay in familiar waterways that you know were deep, the channels, the ditches.
There's still plenty of water to fish.
Yeah.
Don't get us wrong.
Yeah, we didn't go to a mud puddle.
Right.
Definitely don't just take your normal shoot-offs where you think you're probably okay because, hey, it's 3 feet here. It might not be 3 feet there the next time you're running. So be careful when you're running the lakes. Any of these lakes now, just slow it down a little bit.
Yeah. And if you're planning to be in this area the next for the holiday, the Memorial Day holiday or the weekend, the weather is going to be somewhere between the mid 80s to upper 80s. The wind should subside to 12. 12 miles an hour, I'll take that. Yeah. That's how bad it's been. So usually in the morning it's not as bad, but as the sun comes up, the air temperature warms up, that wind starts whipping. So, but not too bad, up to about 10 miles an hour for the next 5 days or 6 days. So,
but keep your same windy fishing patterns though. Any blow-throughs, fish them. Wind-blown banks, fish them. That's where we keep hearing people are finding fish where the wind's blowing. And almost the worse it is, the better the fishing is. So.
We were just chatting
Don't run from it.
Yeah, we were just chatting with a couple of guys and gals here, and today some of the baits have been working. Speed worm, certainly. Again, the bulkier type of baits. Running again. You start out shallow. As that sun comes up, you got to go deep, and then we. The three folks we spoke to today, they had a really good day on a spinnerbait. Yep,
spinnerbait seemed to be really whipping up on them.
Yep,
and some different ones.
Yeah, but it was all on the windward side.
Yeah.
Yep. Every catch apparently was on the windward side. So
sure enough.
Bear that in mind. Oh, let's talk about panfish. So it's warm here. It's warm here.
Something besides bass? There's other fish out there?
Some table fare. Good table fare. Right. Yes, sirree.
That sounds good. And I'll tell you what, I know just the guy to talk about pan fishing and where to get them, how to get them, what lures to use.
That's right. So he will be coming up. This is what we're referring to. Our very own Captain Dan. He's got a panfish special.
Yep.
if you will. And that's up right now.
Hey guys, it's Dan here again, part of the Hooked on Headwaters crew. Today I'll be talking about something different. Today I'm going to be talking about pan fishing. The Headwaters Lake obviously is a body of fresh water, so there's a lot more to headwaters than just bass. So many of you, like me, you grew up when you were kids, you did a fair amount of fishing for brim and bluegill. It's a great way to start kids off on fishing. Just some advice. I want to get this to you guys first thing in the video because I don't want you to click off and skip this. To me, this is the most important part of the video here. For taking and getting your kids started fishing, they don't need to go fishing, they need to go catching. It's very important, in my opinion, when you start a kid off fishing, they need to be catching fish. So dads and moms, if you decide to take your kids fishing, if you have the opportunity to get out and go search around a little bit, if you've not been out at the lake, search it out and give it a try before you take your, especially the younger they are, the more they need to really be catching. So take and do a little bit of research ahead of time if possible, whether it be talking to some friends that know for sure you can catch them, or go check them yourself. I've done that with my children. It's always my goal, because they're still young. You got young kids, it's always my goal when they go fishing to be catching fish. This is how you're going to get them to really enjoy fishing. I've found the kids have such a short attention span. They need to be catching fish, and this is one way you can do it. This is one species of fish that we've been given that it really gets kids hooked on fishing. That's part of what got me going. It's easier to keep kids engaged in this kind of stuff. So just take that for what it's worth. Please consider that. If you want your kids to enjoy fishing, take them catching first. I'm going to try to give you some tips on how to do that, the best ways to do it. So the easiest way, especially for the little ones, to get them started is with just a float and hook rig. Okay, so what I have here is a small float. So you can see that there, just a small float. Down here on the business end of it, what we have is just a small hook. And by the way, most everything I'm going to show you today is very inexpensive to get into. So I have a small split shot about 6 inches up from a small hook. So a small split shot, small hook, and then just up the line is our little bobber or float. Some other floats you might be interested in, you know, the old school float that we all grew up with, just a plastic float. These pinch right on, or clip, not pinch, but they clip on your line with these, you squeeze them. So you can see that there with my finger, that little hook there. You flip that, put that over your line, and you release this side, and it wedges the line in between the little hook and the round plastic piece, and then you flip it over. You use your thumb, push here, and you'll see the little hook that flips up. Then you put the other side of the line through there, and you release it, and it goes back in. That's what holds these floats on the line. Very simple. No tying here. The only place you got to tie is at the hook. So with that small hook, I've got a light spinning rod. We'll get into some of this other stuff, but that is a rig that I use. I just call it a float rig. Very simple to use. And you can use it, your line size doesn't matter a lot. You don't need to use 20 pound, but if that's what you've got, go for it. The brim don't care. Once we get into talking about casting and things like that with artificials, line size will make a difference, so will your rod. So float rig, what do you use on your float rig for bait? My favorite is crickets. You can go to your local bait shop like Stick Marsh Bait and Tackle. Felipe always has crickets. They're relatively inexpensive. You can spend $5 on bait and you'll have more crickets than you know what to do with. So when you're there, if you don't have one of these, this is a cricket bucket. Felipe, you tell them you want a cricket bucket. These are also, they're about $5 for this, $5 for the bait. This you have forever. This you put your crickets in. If you notice the little white ring in here, and it's wire. They put the crickets in there. They can crawl up the side, but they cannot crawl down and out and over. So that is what I use to hold my crickets. Quick tip on that: make sure two things. Don't leave them in the sun. Try to keep them in a shaded area because they'll kill them. And two, do not let this tump over in your car or your home, because you will never, I repeat, never get rid of all the crickets. Okay, that's an important tip. Also, you can buy worms. You know, I don't know how much these were, $3 I think for a whole thing of worms. They're a little more messy, but fish like them, catfish like them. I'll call it catfish also on this technique. The cricket, you just impale them on the hook. It's simple. You cast in the water. You know, you'll find your area that you've already scouted out for you kids. If you're just doing this for your kids, when you get a bite, the bobber goes down. It's a, you know, you can learn that from the cartoons. I'm not being silly, but that's the truth. It's simple, super simple. The kiss method works well in this situation. So float and hook. I like to put the little split shot like you saw about 6 inches up. It helps with the casting, helps your bait to sink down. Also, that float, depending on how deep it is, you can adjust how deep you want your hook by adjusting your line inside of the float. You just squeeze it down, pull a little line through, then you squeeze the other side while holding your thumb over that, and pull the rest of the line down. So you can make adjustments for that. Pretty self-explanatory. So worms, same thing. You thread them on the hook. It's quite simple. The areas I like fishing for brim, bluegill, I really like fishing around any kind of if there's a man-made structure, they seem to tend to hold around those things, like a dock, a seawall. an old pump station like in the area that we have here, Lake Garcia. There's some pumps there that you can get close to also. There's a couple at Headwaters you can get close to. Even there at the boat ramp at Headwaters, there's a lot of brim and bluegill in these areas. So those are some of the simple areas to find. Anywhere you can get close to the water, there's usually going to be brim and bluegill in those areas. So now, moving on from that, I like to catch them a lot on artificial. So one of my favorite ways is a thing called a Beetle Spin. I've caught many bluegill on a Beetle Spin. This is much like a bass fishing spinnerbait. This little blade here just spins. It's got a little swivel there and spins when you cast it, and you just reel it. And that spins. It travels through the water basically like this, with the jig at the bottom, blade spinning, and it's a cast and reel. Cast it, reel it nice and slow. I've caught many bluegill on this, brim bluegill. I've caught crappie, which we call them in Florida, we call them specks. Also, you can get these in colors, different colors. This one happens to be white with a red spot that you can see there. This is probably my favorite color, black with 2 yellow stripes. That's been really good. And you can buy these at any store, a Walmart. I like to buy from my local tackle shops and support those guys. They have all of this stuff. Pretty much almost any bait shop that's close to freshwater in the United States of America will have Beetle Spins, small hooks, floats, split shot, just very simplistic stuff. Moving on from Beetle Spins, this is a cast and reel kind of technique. You can do the same thing with these little, they're called rooster tails. These work okay. I catch more bass on these than anything else. They cast and this little blade spins as well. You catch them on that. And then moving on into jigs, like this small jig head here. Oh, it's windy today. See this small jig, you can get them a 16th ounce or a 32nd. And then you buy different kinds of soft plastics. And you can thread the soft plastics. You can get little curly tails. Okay, and you can just thread them right on your hook. Slide it all the way up by the head. And there you go. This curly tail spins when it comes through the water. Very simple thing. I catch a lot of different kinds of panfish on this. Bass, bluegill, crappie. There's a number. There's just almost as many colors in panfish world as there is in bass world. There's so many different things. Little tubes with different colors. You can get lost in that. Just get a couple simple colors. Remember, you know, get a light color, get a dark color, Beetle Spin. You know, this electric chicken color, it's really good. I like that one. But don't get too far into the weeds with that. Just get simple stuff. This is kind of a simple kind of fishing that can be really productive. So moving on from there, another way I really like to catch them is on a fly rod. Now this is a little bit, you know, this is not what I would start my kids out with. This is for some people with a little bit more experience with a rod and reel in their hand. This is my favorite way to catch them. April and May really is a good time for fly fishing, really any time, but they spawn in April, May usually. And I use things I call them popping bugs. They're little small flies. Again, you can find these just about anywhere. You know, they'll be $2 or $3 a piece. This one has little rubber legs on it. The little popping bugs. Now these float. You'll cast by into a likely area, and what I do is you'll strip line. If you know a little bit about fly fishing, you can strip, or you can just pop with your rod tip, just gently, because you're only, you know, this is small stuff, so small movements. These little flies, they pop and make a little bubble. When you move them, they pop on the surface. But again, just small movements. What I like to do, another one is a little, it's like a little spider, a foam spider. You see that? It's got little rubber legs. These two things, these are my two favorites. So how I fish them with a fly rod, again, we're talking small stuff. I'll make a cast to a likely spot. My bait hits the water. I don't do anything yet. I wait. What I typically like to do is when my bait hits the water, the bluegill are there, they know it's there. Don't move it. Wait till the rings die away and almost disappear, or disappear before you move it. Especially with these spiders. These little rubber legs, when they're new, this one's kind of old, they kind of tickle the water's surface usually. Sometimes after a while they'll fill with water and sink, but if they're up on top, or if they sink, those little legs provide so much action. Same way with these little popping bugs, those little legs provide action to do much. So now it's sat a long time, no bites. One little pop, move them under the rod tip or strip a little bit of line, and it pops, makes a bubble, and then you have the rings, let the rings die away. Fish it slow. Give it several seconds, you know, maybe 30 seconds up to a minute if you've been knowing they're there. Give them a little bit more time. When it's time and you think you need to make another cast, pick up, make another cast to another likely location. So you guys that need to get into fly fishing, it's pretty simple with brim bluegill. One thing I missed on is line size on your regular conventional tackle. I use a light spinning rod. This outfit's pretty inexpensive. The rod and reel was 60 bucks. I like a rod that's at least 5 foot. If you can find one that's at least 5 foot, that one happens to be a 6.5, I think. But you want to have a really fast tip, lightweight. But line, typically for my ultralight stuff, I'm 6 pound or less, usually 6 or 4 pound test. Works fantastic. But again, back to the crickets and things. It doesn't have to be that. If you have a rod that you use that has 10-pound line, go for it. That will work. Caught many on that, especially with the crickets. But that covers most everything. But again, taking the kids fishing. When I say take them catching, I mean they need to catch large numbers of fish. They don't have to. It doesn't matter what kind they are. It really doesn't matter how big they are. Just take them to where they can catch a lot of fish. They start getting tired, head out. Make sure you bring snacks for them. And plenty to drink, because they get distracted pretty easy, and you can then distract them with something else so you can stay fishing a little bit longer. So anyway, I hope that helps out, guys. Very simplistic. It's not expensive to get into the general conventional tackle fly fishing. You can break the bank fly fishing. If you serious fly fishermen, this video is you know what I'm saying. You can get an $800 rod. You don't need that. You can buy them relatively inexpensively. I'm on the Cortland line, part of the Cortland line guide group. Cortland has a good number of starter outfits that are relatively reasonably priced. But again, I wouldn't start kids on that, or if you're just starting out fishing, just stick with a conventional tackle to start, and then go from there. So hope that helps you guys, and helps you catch a lot of fish. I got marbles in my mouth today. So anyway, hopefully we'll see you out on the lake, and catch you in the next video. We'll see you.
All right, folks, we're back. I know you had to enjoy that video by Captain Dan. Always good information, and I'm looking forward to get out and putting some of these fish in the live well, take them home, cook them up, and have some really good chow, no doubt. I mean, it's fun to go out and get bass, but man, when you can bring something home that tastes great to eat, makes it all worth it.
Nothing better.
That's it.
So today we came down to the Headwaters boat ramp to meet John, or as we know him on YouTube, JLR Fishing. He is the winner of Where You At contest.
That's it. If you see JLR Fishing on YouTube, you go. This is your thing to do this week. Go support these winners. Comment below. Congrats, John. He is a super cool dude. Down from North Carolina. Yeah. Definitely, if you ever, you don't know who he is. We do now. We had the great pleasure of meeting up with him. So, hey, we're looking forward to the next time we get to meet him. Like everybody we meet are just great folks all around. So, but we really had a good time talking to John.
And that talk, that discussion, we have on video, and we're going to make that available right now.
Hey, it's Barry.
And Dave.
And John.
All right.
Down here at the ramp at Headwaters Lake, we have the great privilege of meeting up with John. JLR Fishing is on YouTube, one of our followers, we did a contest of the Where You At contest. We picked 2 winners. John was one of those guys. We've been sitting here for the last few minutes having a great conversation with him. Just a fantastic guy.
Sure is.
Which is really nice about having the channel is, you know, everybody's just so cool and everybody's so, you know, we talk fishing, you know, and find that commonality. You know, Dave and John both fished up north, so they've got that going on. So they've been rapping about catching big fish up there, and now we're talking about fish down here. But we were here to present John with the prize pack. So Dave, I'm gonna turn it over to you so you can do the presentation for John there of the prizes.
Well, first we want to thank American Baitworks for sponsoring all the gifts. They provided this this stuff for you, which allows us to give it to folks like John. So John, we've got a bunch of nice goodies here. There you go, nice hats. Snagger proof, and some swim baits. We got some big bobbers in here, scum frogs, a whole variety. Here you go, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Good
Appreciate
luck.
that.
Well, John, where you from? Where you at? You were.
Where you at? I was at Curie Beach, North Carolina.
That's right. All right. Where is that?
That is southeast North Carolina, near Wilmington, North Carolina.
Okay. All right.
What drew you to Headwaters Lake of all the lakes you could possibly fish in the country?
Whew. I have fished a lot of lakes, in my life. I've been blessed to fish up many places. I heard about Headwaters and the Florida fisheries development of the lake. I Googled it and I found this site on YouTube called Hooked on Headwaters. And I thought, well, that's interesting, you know. So I pull it up and I see Barry and I see Dave. And they're talking about this new lake that's been formed, gave an overview of the ramp and how to get here and everything. And ever since then, I guess that started almost 3 years ago now?
Year and a half.
Has it been a year and a half?
Yeah.
Year and a half. And just, well, with COVID, time just kind of stood still. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, because the lake's only been open about 2 years.
Oh, but it feels
August.
like an
August
eternity.
was a
So I'm
year.
with you, John.
Yeah,
August
so
was a year.
fantastic. But you know, so when I found the site, it really intrigued me because of the manner you went about breaking down the lake and breaking down everything about it and making it be familiar to people. And I've had people tell me before that they don't like fishing in Florida because these lakes are so shallow and it's so hard to read and everything. And so since y'all began, you've done these tutorials on the lake and they've been fantastic. And it really makes a person comfortable wanting to come down here and try the place, because when you first show up and get to the lamp, you look out there, you're thinking,
One square pond.
is that pond the lake? You know, and you don't realize you got a big old canal goes out there, and then if you come out here and the hydrilla hasn't bloomed out, it's just like a bunch of open water out there. And then you realize, if you didn't know what you was doing, it was going to be very shallow water too in some places. But y'all really did a great job putting this together. And for people that, whether novice or experienced fishermen, it's been very valuable. And I really appreciate everything y'all have done to make it, you know, very user friendly. And it shows, because now you got American Baitworks as a sponsor. You've got several other sponsors around local. You know, it's a great start. So congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Well, it takes guys like you and the rest of the guys that are following us along to stay with us through the developmental stages, you know. You start somewhere and then you kind of keep trying to grow as best as you can from there. And we've got a lot coming up, and it's going to be a fun year.
It is.
Well, I'm sure that whatever y'all develop is going to be great. Because it's so far, it's, you know, from the development stage starting out in the little 15-foot aluminum boat to your new boat now, and getting around a little bit quicker. But and you know, the development you've had going into the bow fishing business and everything, and that, after seeing all the tilapia out there today, I'm sure that y'all going to be very busy with that. So anybody likes to bow fish and wants to shoot tilapia, these are the two guys to hook up with.
We will put you on them. Well, you have plenty of shot opportunities, that's for sure. It's up to you to hit them, but we'll put you
on them.
That's right, and they're all closed, so lots of fun. So yeah, so definitely thanks a lot. We appreciate you been following us and hanging in there.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate
you for watching.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank
you, Barry.
Thank you, John.
Certainly do appreciate it. Y'all been great.
All right, John.
Keep it up.
So long, everyone.
All right, folks.
John, have a safe trip back home.
Appreciate it.
See you again soon.
Hooked on Headwaters, folks.
All right.
Take care, everybody. All right, back from our little interview with John there. As you well know now, based on what we talked about, you can just tell John Mannerism's just a laid-back, super
awesome
nice guy to hang out with. So
great subscriber, follow the channel.
Yep, super guy. So going to go ahead and mention our other place that we like to talk about if you're coming down here to stay, and that will be Blue Cypress Lakeside Cabins. I can tell you that Jim and Tammy do a great job out there. It's like, you would think you were at one of those super ritzy places like in New York where like everybody caters to your every need.
Yeah.
That's how it is, you know, but it's
so
out
good.
on the lake, it's laid back, relaxed, but they just absolutely just they treat you like royalty.
Yeah.
Super clean rooms. You're right on the water. You got the dock right there, the deck. You can sit there and look out over the lake as the night sky is coming in. You've got the whole lake to go out on. And we repeat this over and over. If you have not been to Blue Cypress, make it a bucket list deal just so you can go over to M. Actually, just working around the whole lake and the cypresses all come down the lake, but getting over to M and Zigzag and going just back in time and seeing what it looked like back when the Indians were hanging around and doing their thing and just living a very simple, basic life, which would be really nice to get back to for all of us now. But definitely check that out. So their information will be down below, and they'll take care of you for sure, so check them out.
Okay, so for our next segment, Capt Gerry, he's out on the water, and he's provided us a remote video, and we're going to bring that to you right now.
Hey guys, how y'all doing today? Look at here. It is Jerry, hooked on Headwaters. As you can see, I am out here. Beautiful fish, by the way. I am out here in Lake Headwaters. I want to talk to you this week a little bit about what's been going on and what we've been catching fish on and where we've been catching them. So, this here is a copper-filled color, and it's called a Big Easy. It's made by Gambler. I'm using a 6/0 extra wide gap worm hook, no weight, and a copper filled color. So I've been catching a lot of fish on this. I had a trip this morning and we were down there. That's the north end of the pits. And I did have a trip this morning and we did use shiners and we did just have fun. But I'm more here to talk to you about what's going on for the average guy who comes out here to Lake Headwaters and wants to catch bass. Right now, this time of year, the lake's super low. So if you can get in the north pit, south pits, if you can get it anywhere where you got adjacent, deep water, you're going to catch fish on soft plastic baits, topwater plugs. So today I'm going to kind of show you, this is the first one, and this is what I've been catching these fish on. We've been catching a tremendous amount of them too, 30, 35, 40 a day. Another thing that I've really been catching them on are these here. These are also made by Gambler. They're a 7.5 inch burner worm, which is exactly the same thing as the speed worm for y'all that don't know. I like the Gambler burner worms because they're a lot more buoyant. They're bigger, they're just hardier. Looks like, something that you would really want to take the energy to spend, or spend the energy to eat that. So I am catching them in that, June bug and color. I'm also catching them on the Bass Assassins, which is an RSB worm. I've been trying to get a hold of gooseberry, but I think it's all balled out. But anyway, this is pretty much the same thing. It's a speed worm, really thick. It's a hardy bait. This color is red bug, made by Bass Assassin Bang Lures. You can get them at Bass Pro Shop. The Gambler, the same thing. You can get it at Bass Pro Shop. It's called a burner worm, 7.5 inch, June bug color. We've also been catching some fish on, which I don't have any out right now. We've been catching some fish on Zare spooks. Some mornings it seems like bone color. They really like the bone color. Other mornings it seems like I've been doing pretty good on pop-bars, but in blue and silver. So any kind of walking bait, any kind of chug bait like a pop-bar, chug bug, creek chug, that's all going to work early in the morning. Get up on these flats, get off these, any shallow water on these hydrilla edges, and fish those top water plugs. And then as the morning gets up, around 10, 11 o'clock, change up, go to your speed worms, go to your chatter baits, stuff like that. But right now, man, listen, the fish are hitting. Get out here in these pits or anywhere else that you know of, it's got some deep water, and find you some hydrilla, and just slow fish these worms, speed worms. Even the flukes are working really good over in the Cypress maze. They're all working really good over there. Flukes are. I've been catching them over there in the bluegill color, so that's working as well. So just anywhere that you guys can get, and you can find some deep water that's got some hydrilla on it, and these big patches that are matted out, get in there and fish these soft plastics and these top water plugs, and I think you'll do well. So until next week, that's it for me, and you guys catch them and be safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're back from Jerry's update, and I tell you, he went from shiners to just tearing them up on worms.
Yeah.
And what it showed, look, Jerry and Dan both super versatile guys. If you want to come down and fish live bait, they got you. If you want to fish artificials,
Absolutely.
they've got you. Want to do a little bit of both? They've got you. So yeah, Jerry made that transition over to the artificials here, and he is no slouch. He's been tearing them up and pulling in some big ones here. So either guy you can't go wrong with. So definitely you're even turning around your head to get a guide. Those are your guys. They will not let you down. So we're going to jump off now to a segment, that we're trying to include in all these now. We want to introduce a new bait, something for you guys to look at, something to consider. And today's bait happens to be what, Dave?
This is the Mischief Minnow. This is put out by Freedom Baits, which is part of the American Baitworks group companies. This is the kind of top water bait with the spinner blade on the bottom here. It comes with Gamakatsu hooks. I use this in saltwater as well, for my kayak charters and my own trips. I just started using it. The sea trout seem to love it. I'll be using it over the next couple of weeks, and I'll be sure to bring you some footage. But yeah, I'm really impressed with this. I like the design on it. It's available in this bone color, my favorite.
Yep.
And this sexy. It looks like a sexy shad type of color.
It's gonna be hard to see in the morning.
Yeah.
Hopefully that.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, lots of cool colors with this. It really has that unique way, that action, because it wobbles as it's coming through the water, and then you've got that flash behind it.
Yep. Yeah, really interesting bait. It's different. I guarantee. I don't think the fish have seen anything like this.
No, and
it comes with a snap swivel here, so if you want to tie the line to a quick, easy on and off. For those people who like to use snap swivel, it comes with one. It's good hardware. This is not cheap hardware here. So if that's your thing, you can certainly use that, and it comes with it again.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So definitely check these lures out. Get one, pick one up. You can always go over straight to American Baitworks. Make sure you use the Headwaters 15 coupon code, 15% off. If you guys have used this before, let us know down in the comment section how you like it. It's doing really well. It's had something different that the bass haven't seen. It's got great action, and a lot of guys are just knocking them out with this thing. So it's definitely one to pick up and add to your arsenal for sure. All right, guys, now we're going to go ahead and turn to Captain Dave with his kayak report. He gets out there. If you don't already know, you should know, livingwaterskayaking.com. Check that out. Dave does the guided fishing trips, both fresh and salt water. If it was me, I don't know, I like the intercoastal. If you're coming down from up north and you're already bass fishing, I would consider taking a trip out to the river, because you're going to see manatee, you're going to see dolphins, you're going to see some really pretty birds. You've got islands that are out in the water that you can just come up and just hang out on and things like that. So definitely check out Dave's both website, Living Waters Kayaking. Got a few videos on Living Waters Kayaking too over on YouTube, so check that out. And yeah, if you're interested in anything like that, hook up with Captain Dave. You're gonna have an absolute blast.
Yeah, this week we caught, was out there. I had some time, ran out, got some live bait, a lot of bait, so it's a good time to fish. I had a short amount of time. I kind of worked a couple of areas, and I hooked into a couple of sharks, small sharks, but you know, it's anytime you hook into a shark, you never know, and it's super exciting.
You ain't gonna catch one of them out here.
So I'll show that video right now. Something here. It's a shark. Ow! It was a shark, folks. Okay, folks. That about wraps it up for us today.
Yeah.
Right?
That'll about do it for this episode. Listen, we want to first off thank everybody. Last video, you guys just really showed us a lot of love, a lot of views, a lot of comments. We really appreciate that. It means a lot to us. We've got some new stuff coming up here really quick, so keep an eye out for the new stuff that we're going to be doing. We told you from the jump in 2022, new faces, new places, new things we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing some more lake breakdowns, because I know more and more people we talk to really like the lake breakdowns, so we're going to be doing more of those as well. If you have something that you want to see, if you're like, hey, can you guys, think about doing an episode on this or this, a particular section of the lake, or a particular bait, or a particular whatever it may be, drop it down in the comments below. Let us know, because we're always interested in what it is that you guys want to see. We put out the content, saying, hey, this, hope this, what these guys want to see, and gals. But if you've got something particular, hey, we're happy to go ahead and, within reason, if they want to see us take the John boat, 10 miles offshore, that may be a different story. But yeah, so make sure you drop comments below. And again, we can't say enough about how much we appreciate everybody that's been following us along. We're meeting folks that have been following since day one and on. So
yeah, it's been an awesome. We've only been doing this just under 2 years, really, a year and a half, and it's phenomenal. It's been a great journey. We've got we're looking at great places to go and take you with us. So it'll be good. We want to make sure we wish everyone a very happy and safe Memorial Day weekend. Again, if you see a vet out there, make sure to give them a thank you. They would appreciate that.
Yeah, give them the props they deserve, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, folks.
All righty. So long, everyone, and God bless you.
See you next week.